welcome in everybody. We're back for another on the line segment brought to you and us by our friends over at Factory 14. Harley, Holly, Billy, everybody over there does a great job, and we really appreciate them partnering up with us and providing such a great product on many levels, all the way from junior sprints up to sprint cars. But speaking of Factory 14 and a great job, we've got our good friend and Team Dirt Crowd driver Jett Nunley on the line. Jett, how you doing, bub?
Good.
Good, good. You still riding the high wave off the weekend, or just kind of normal and old hat for you now, right?
It's kind of normal, but it's nice coming off of it.
How was it driving that Outlaw car? I mean, at least that's a little bit different, right? I know you got to go up to SIR and running that deal, but is there a big difference between the Outlaw car and when you're running the stock non-wing car?
No, they both handle the same once you get all the same stuff done to it. But then
Yeah.
it just got more power. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing you can't handle, right?
No.
All right, so let's go back to the weekend. I know Friday wasn't ideal, but you're getting ready to tell us why. But you know, going into the weekend, obviously you didn't get to practice on Thursday, but you pretty much got port figured out currently. But let's talk about Friday a little bit, how the heat race went, and then kind of where that puts you for the feature, and kind of what went on at the feature. Let's start with the heat race. How did that go for you? How'd the car feel, and kind of what were you thinking before and after that first heat race, because that was a big one?
Yeah, I know I had to do good and get up there to front and get a good spot especially with 70 or 80 cars. I had to get up front to hopefully start in the front of the A, and it didn't really quite work out how I wanted it with the 8 heats. It just put me back to 9th, and in the A, it just kind of, from there, I kind of messed up a couple times and lost the brakes, and I brought it back to 9th, but then just couldn't get any farther forward than that.
Yeah, well, you know, and speaking of the heat, I want to mention that a little bit because, like you said, there were so many there, so many cars, so many heats. And I go onto my race pass and I look at the heat lineups, and I see all of a sudden you and Mr. Chris Carroll starting on the front row of that heat. And a lot of people don't understand how important that race was, because obviously Chris was on the bad end of that deal, but rolling out there for the heat, you know, that could make or break the whole night right there. I mean, you got probably 2 of the top 3 or 4 favorites of the whole event rolling off on the front row. Nobody's going to get a whole lot of passing points. So those starts are huge, and that kind of meant everything and kind of set the tempo for the night. You got the best of Chris there in the heat race, and obviously, like you said, not getting a lot of passing points that allowed you to start 9th. But, you know, going into that, you know, the top 4 locks in, right? So the main thing is let's look at 4th, even rolling out 9th. You're thinking if I pick off 5 cars here, we're sitting good and we're in the lock-in. But as you said, that kind of didn't happen. I know in talking to you and talking to Dad and Hunter and everybody that kind of had a brake issue and lost brakes. So it didn't really put you behind the 8 ball, but that just means we got to start from scratch again on Saturday. And then I look on my race pass again, and that heat, you're starting 6th. So I'm looking, now we got a chance for some passing points, and lo and behold, you looked really, really strong in the heat there. You went 6th to 1st. Tell us a little bit about that deal. I mean, that's kind of what you want more, really, is a chance to get some passing points, correct?
Yeah, I know, especially when I got the draw, that I'd probably start somewhere to the back, and that's what we really needed the first night. And I just knew I had to go forward and get to the front and probably win it to start 5th after the top
Yep.
4 locked in. And I just knew I had to get up there and finish first, or I wouldn't either make it or I wouldn't start very good.
Well, yeah, and looking at that heat race, you know, obviously we were there in person, but watching it and watching the replay, the car was super fast. You were able to move around on the track. I actually think you were able to be a little bit patient. I know sometimes for these younger kids that are watching, kind of tell us. I know you're starting 6th, and you know, 2 or 3 years ago, you'd have probably been like, man, I got to get to first immediately, and then it's easy to overdrive the car. But knowing how much speed you have in the car and how good you've been this season, it looked, at least from our standpoint, that you were able to still be fast, move around, but be a little bit patient and not put yourself in a bad spot, knowing that every car you passed was going to start you farther forward. And there weren't many other cars that were able to pass that car, the number of cars, obviously. That's why it put you fifth. But from the outside for us and these younger kids, I think they think automatically, okay, I've got to get to the lead immediately. But it looked like to us you were able to be patient and you had a lot of confidence in the car and your ability.
Yeah, definitely. I knew the car was going to handle. I just had to maneuver around the cars that were in front of me, and I knew I could take my time and get there at some point. And especially before the finish, it was almost too late, but I got it, and I just knew from the start of the race that I had to get there, and I could even be patient with it because 8 laps is plenty to get that many cars.
Yeah, and I think, like we were saying, for these younger kids that are listening and some of the fans in the stands that don't realize when you're having the season you are and you have as much confidence you are in the car and you guys and each other and the crew and everybody, it allows you to a little bit be more patient, right? It's not a panic situation and then you end up on your head or get into a tire or get into another car and then we wreck the whole night. So obviously he did a great job there, was patient, was able to pick everybody off and get the maximum passing points. And to your point, from the night before, the top 4 locked in. So you having max points, that puts you to start 5th. And I always think it helps a little bit because you've had some time on the track. Yeah, those top 4 that locked in got to come out and run some hot laps, but you were able to move around and looked really good in the heat. So I'm pretty sure rolling out for the A, they're starting 5th. I know you had nothing but hitters around you, but I'm sure you're feeling pretty confident rolling out there, coming down the ramp and your abilities and the car that you had under you.
Yeah, for sure. I know 20 or 30 laps is definitely plenty enough to take my time, especially starting 5th. And I knew I could trust the car and trust how good it was going to drive. And as soon as I hit the bottom first corner, I knew that's probably where I was going to want to be.
Right.
And I wasn't seeing much people making speed on the top. So I felt like I was going to be better on the bottom, and I had to change like one thing on the car with my shocks. And other than that, I just was pretty good on the bottom, so I never really changed what I was doing.
Yeah.
And just slowly worked my way up to the lead and kind of just stayed on the bottom, never really pulled off of it.
Yeah, it looked like you didn't have to do anything crazy. I mentioned to you, I think that night, and maybe even a little bit before we started here, that, I think it was probably the second or third restart there. It looked like a couple laps before that, like Cash Lacombe was running, getting some decent speed up there in 1 and 2, and I was wondering on that next restart. I know you like to hit the bottom on that restart and then get the momentum built, but coming back around going into 1 and 2, I was kind of wondering if you were going to test it up there a little bit, and you definitely stuck to your guns and stuck the bottom, and that was about it, right? I mean, it looked like Cash had speed, but once you got out on him, it looked like he wasn't making up any distance, and it put you in a pretty comfortable position, I think, overall, and obviously went on to win the race, and I don't know, what is that, number 18 so far this year for you?
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously rolling really good, super confident. But I want to wish you congratulations again on that. Looked really good, and we're super proud of you. Let's take a little bit to look forward a little bit. Let's look ahead. You're already going to be back in the seat again tomorrow, running your now 600 series, both in the wing car and the non-wing car, which you're currently leading the points in both. And we've got the Sooner Speed Week coming up, so you got 4 nights in a row. When you're looking at that, I know, let's just take the points out of it, but when you're looking at 4 nights in a row, do you have a different mindset going into that week? I mean, are you just taking it one night at a time and whatever that track gives you on that night, that's what you're dealing with and that's what you're going after?
Yeah, no, I really don't change how I'm thinking about it. Just go out there, it's another race night, and kind of just do all the same stuff and watch the track, see what it does, and hopefully win.
Yeah, and all 3 of these tracks we're going to. I know tomorrow night we start out over at Creek County. and obviously you've been really good there. And then we flip over back out to I-44 for Thursday and Friday, and lo and behold, again, you're really good there. And then we finish up with Port, which you've been really good there. So you got to have a lot of confidence going in, not just in the car, but in yourself. I mean, I feel like you're riding a wave. Your confidence level's high. You can kind of see it in and out of the car. I think you're maturing and peaking at the right time. I just think everything's falling into place for Mr. Jett Nunley, and we're super proud of you. Obviously, we'll be out there tomorrow and over at I-44 and at Port. So just wanted to have you on and congratulate you again, having a fantastic season. Keep up the good work. If you don't mind, go ahead and take a chance and take a little bit of time here and thank everybody that supports Jett Nunley Racing.
I want to thank Factory 14, Harley Hauling Companies, Diamond D Trucking, Dirt Crowd, Metric Cycles, England Machine and Tools, Micron Tom, CSI, Kaiser Wheels, Daryl's Appliance and Furniture.
All right, but we appreciate it. Don't let Dad work you too hot out there in the shop, and make sure you get some rest. And we'll plan on seeing you tomorrow night at Creek County.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jett. All right, guys, that's Mr. Jett Nunley, obviously running for Factory 14 and currently leading both the non-wing and the wing series in Now 600, and just looking forward to a good Sooner Speed Week for him. So we'll be right back in a moment, and we'll see you soon.
Racers don't slow down, and neither do we. At Factory 14, quality products, proven performance, and unmatched service come together under one roof. Our showroom is packed with everything for junior sprints to sprint cars, all ready for race day. Our race team and development program are shaping the future of this sport. And with professional trackside support across the country, you're never alone when you're part of our team. One team, one standard, always accessible. Factory 14, excellence in every detail.